It's about adding that. Oh, hello?
Yeah, we did talk about adding that to our English and park assessment on Friday.
Right, yeah,
But
that's
I don't
right.
think we officially added it. We talked about it, but we never officially added it.
Can we do that? How do we officially add it?
David?
I have no idea.
It was supposed to be added. Paula Rizzo is letting us know.
I mean, can we just informally just do it?
That was the last, meeting. She's right.
As long as we're on English place, I mean, it's only, a 2-block difference. Kelly, you're looking.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, I was looking for an old email that would have answered something that I didn't find. So you're wondering whether you can add something that wasn't, is it not on the agenda?
No, on our agenda for Friday, this Friday is
Yeah.
a walking assessment.
Yep.
Actually, just that, it's not much of a walk, it's just that intersection of English and
Yes.
Park. And as long as we had this other residents concerned about English and North Wagner, which is 2 blocks away, we were talking about adding a view of that at the same time. But I don't know what everybody's time constraints are for Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
I'm actually not going to be there, and I would, since Shannon really runs these things, I would hesitate to add anything to it. I know she was trying to make this an abbreviated walking assessment to keep it very focused in scope.
No, I agree with you, but the fact that it's 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon also, we can do North Wagner at a different date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is Paula on the line? Because I think that, she spent
Yes,
some
she
time.
is.
Yeah.
Want to let her weigh in here? Because I think that we kind of agreed to it last month. It doesn't seem fair to undo what we agreed to last month.
Yeah, I mean, if you, with the commission's grace, I will authorize Ms. Rizzo to speak. So she should be.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, I didn't even realize that my issues were going to be added to this meeting. I just happened to go on and look at the agenda and see that mine was added as old business. The reason was last meeting, my issue was pushed aside because everyone said, we don't need to discuss this any further. Let's add it to the walkthrough. It's only a block away. So I purposely came home early tonight to sit down to be in this meeting so that I didn't miss it. And I planned on being in the walkthrough for Friday afternoon, since it is literally a 1-minute walk to this area from the walkthrough, and it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to walk the 4 corners and see where the issue area is.
Right.
But it's not, I don't think it's fair to say we can't add something that's not on the added already when it was supposed to be added last meeting. So it's also not fair to the residents that were on this meeting last month waiting for this to be added and then to sit through it again to not be added again.
Well, I think just to clarify, the walking safety assessments are separate from what they're just separate from these meetings. They're separate issues. And
no, I understand that. And last meeting, my issue was dismissed because it was added to that walkthrough.
Okay. I don't know about that. I'm sorry. I apologize. And because I'm not going to be on this walking assessment, I think, anyone on the Traffic Commission who plans on being at the Friday walking assessment, it's up to you.
May I just say one thing? May I interject just for a second? And again, I'm new to this. Okay. I've only been involved in, again, 1 or 2 meetings in person before COVID hit. But what I am noticing here is, and I get that there's a lot of rules and protocols. Okay. So just bear with me. Okay. Cause this is just me asking just to figure this out, because this is all new to me. But I'm noticing, and I understand the reasons, but I also think that there's some inefficiency in, well, we have to stop and then schedule a walkthrough in a specific neighborhood. Because if we were to do that for a lot of these issues, they're just going to keep getting, the can is going to get kicked constantly. Yeah. And I feel like it's an inefficient way, because some of these things, just based on the fact that we live in this community and we have children here, we've seen this. So I don't think all of these things need a scheduled walkthrough. Some do, obviously
Well,
we do.
I agree, and I sent tons of pictures in of
Right.
this section last
And a
time,
lot
but
of-
nobody wanted
yeah.
to look at them last time. Everyone was like, no, we'll put it to the walkthrough. And Shannon was in a rush, and it was just my issue got brushed to the side last month.
Well,
So
I
now
don't
I'm
think it was
keeping-
that we didn't want to, but I definitely understand your position. You were probably told by somebody leading this that that's how it's done. And I get there's protocol. Again, I'm new to this, but I think Paula's concern is valid, and she doesn't want this to keep getting pushed down the pike. And
Right,
maybe
like
this
I
is
went out
something.
of my way to be here again tonight.
Right.
So it's not fair for me now to have to come next month and hopefully get this spoken about again.
Right.
You know,
that-
and-
yeah,
You know, Paula,
I agree with you.
Paula, let me say one thing. The pictures were emailed to all of us, so I went through those pictures, you know, and being that I'm very familiar with the intersection anyway, but I went through the pictures. A lot of us look through the material, even if we're not at a meeting, because we do have them in hand in our, you know, in our computers. So,
Okay, great.
you know, I looked at everything carefully. I don't know if you were on 5 minutes ago when I read the accident reports from the.
Yeah,
police
no,
department.
I was on,
All right,
but
so,
I feel like by you reading that, so would it take my child to be run over and injured for there to be a stop sign? Like, why
I
wouldn't you
hear
prevent
you.
it? It's not
Yeah.
taking away, putting a stop sign at the end of Franklin or at the end of, well, first of all, it's written up in the agenda incorrectly. All I'm requesting is a stop sign at the end of my street, North Wagner, for two reasons. One, it will make people stop so they can't fly around that corner. And also, it will make people not speed because they have to stop. Also, the one on Franklin, people whip around that corner without even looking because they're like, oh, that's a dead end over there and there's no stop sign, so I don't need to stop. Therefore, any pedestrians walking, me as an adult, I can not walk at night and not almost get hit by a car every time. Luckily, I have not been hit, but I don't want to wait to get run over for this to actually be accomplished. And it's not taking away parking spaces. It's not inconveniencing anybody other than doing a second, they have to stop, and that's it.
I'm in agreement with you, just to be clear. Again, I'm new to this. I'm not as seasoned as some of these other people with the protocols, but I think it's a little more complex than just saying, yes, we can do this and it's done. But I also think there's a way to get to that point a little more efficiently. And I don't think it is that we need to go to every single place and stand there and go and, you know, do this walking assessment.
I agree. I'm fine with that as long as it's being thought of, because
I agree.
The impression I got was last month, the person I was really speaking back and forth with me kind of seemed to think it wasn't necessary. And then it was like, okay, well then let's add it to the walkthrough. And
Which
now
is why I just agreed with you. Yes.
No, right, that's what
I'm
I'm
on
saying.
board with that.
Right. So, right. I agree. So if it doesn't have to be added to the walkthrough, I would like to know how to go about having this discussed if this isn't the right place.
Okay.
So, let
Let's address
me just hold you all. You're right. Okay. We said last meeting that we're going to add it to the walkthrough. The walkthrough hasn't occurred. The walkthrough will occur on Friday. So let's stop thinking about what's going to happen if it isn't added to the walkthrough until it actually hasn't occurred at the walkthrough. Larry, you're planning on being at the walkthrough?
Yeah, and I have no problem going up to North Wagner too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we say, Larry, that if in fact it is not planned for the walkthrough when you're there, you ask them to please add it to the walkthrough, since the walkthrough isn't going to be that long anyway. And if that fails, we'll deal with it. But let's just.
Well, you know, Shannon's going to be there, so she should be forewarned anyway. You should notify Shannon that that's going to be the request.
All right, I'll send an email to Shannon that people.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Any other discussion on this matter?
Well, can I just ask one question and then I won't bother you guys about it any longer?
Sure.
Not to do the what ifs, but if Shannon then says no, how do I follow up with you guys? Like, how do I know what to do next?
Let's not get into how to police members of the traffic commission.
No, I don't want to police
Before they've
them. I'm
even
just
done
curious what my
anything.
follow-up should be.
We're not going to get into that.
Okay,
So
that's not very helpful.
this matter is closed.
Wait,
I want to return.
David,
Yeah.
David, I need to ask Paul, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Hi, Paula, it's Lucia. I have a
Hi.
question.
Sure.
You said that on the agenda, the stop sign is wrong, so what's
Oh,
wrong on
because
it?
it says it's, unless I'm just reading it incorrectly, which could be possible. The way it was written in my eyes looks like I'm requesting a stop sign on Franklin, on North Wagner, and on English Place. English Place is just the street that North Wagner's letting off to, and Franklin is letting off to. So I'm only looking for a stop sign at those two and like the end of each one of those streets. There's nowhere to put a stop sign for
Right.
people driving on English.
Right, and English is where those cars are parked, correct?
Right, no, right, that's a different issue. It's on the other side of Halsted.
All right,
So,
I'm gonna take it off there, so I don't know how.
yeah, the one for English Place and Park is on the opposite side of Halsted. That's not near my house. It's down like the street a little bit. So I'm not requesting a stop sign on
David?
my part of English.
Okay,
David,
so
can you hear me?
on, wait, on number 3, so on Park Avenue, you don't want a stop sign there either?
No, she's not involved
No,
with that.
that's not
and she
my,
is.
that's not
Oh,
my
okay.
issue. But yes, I think that this Park Avenue and English Place, yes, 100% needs a stop sign. And that is what the walkthrough is for. But
Paula?
it's, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you going to make it to the safety
The
assessment walk on Friday?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great.
All right, so why don't you introduce yourself to me on Friday down at English and Park?
Okay,
And
perfect.
when we get done there, we'll go up to North Wagner.
Okay, great. And I actually never got the email about that walkthrough. A friend of mine had told me about it. So is there a way for me to get included on that?
You just show up.
Well, what time is it at?
4
They
o'clock.
just, what time?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Okay, perfect. So then, yes, I will be there.
Okay.
Okay, great. Great.
I realize that I should have, before we move on to item 3 under old business, I realized that I should have asked if there was any residents at the meeting that wanted to bring up anything for new business. Dan, can you tell if there's anybody else here that wants to speak?
Ms. Rizzo is the only attendee.
Okay, then we will move back to old business. And number 3 is the stop.
Okay, David, hold on. So number 2 is just gonna be a walkthrough on Friday, right?
Correct.
All right, just wanna make sure.
Number 3 is the stop sign at the corner of Park Avenue and Florence. Is anybody got anything to say on that?
That I never heard of before. Is that under old business?
Yes.
Park in Florence? I never heard that come up before.
Yeah, it was last week.
It was last week. We
It was?
discussed
I
it.
don't remember that, Park in Florence.
Okay, well, he was. So
I'm-
what do you guys want to do about that?
Well, is there anybody here who, any residents here at the meeting that want to address that? If not, then somebody should, one of the residents should address that.
I think it came up as part of the discussion about other parking on Park. I mean, Park in Florence is a T intersection.
Right, Park in English, is it,
No, Park in Florence, I don't recall at all.
no, I got that. No, I hear what you're saying. No,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the last.
Yeah, I mean, it's a T intersection. I don't know what, I think there may already be a stop sign on the Park side of it.
I don't even remember who raised that issue to begin with. Park.
Hold on. Looking to see.
Hey, Dan, Park in Florence is not a T. It's a four-way intersection.
Didn't anybody speak last week on this? I do remember something on it. It wasn't Paula, right?
No, but I think it came up as part of the conversation about the overall,
Oh, yeah, all the
Yeah.
streets being involved and then with the stop signs and with
Everything was parked.
but that's not on your guys' walk?
No, no, I don't recall it even coming up, and it's not a T intersection, Dan.
no, you're right. I was thinking of,
You were thinking of Park in English.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a four-way intersection, Park in Florence.
I remember this. Alana, you don't remember?
I'm so sorry.
I was thinking of Henry. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I had some technical difficulties. Which one are we on right now?
Number 3, stop sign at corner of Park and Florence.
Yeah, that was accidentally put on there. You can just strike it. They were talking about the stop signs at English and Park.
All right, so I'm going to delete this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4, speeding concerns on Taylor's Lane and Shadow Lane.
So the sergeant got back to me and said that they are unable to put the motion sensor on Taylor Lane. And I don't totally understand why, but I think there's not room for it. So he said what they would do is have an officer patrol instead.
So you're saying no room for trailer?
Yeah, he said no room. There's not appropriate. It's not an appropriate place for the trailer.
And they'll put a cop there, a car
He
there?
said he'd have somebody patrol to watch for speeding is what he said.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to say on number 4, speeding concern on Taylor's Lane and Shadow Lane?
Well, I was thinking we should get back to the guy who was on the call last month, but I don't remember his name. Does anybody have that information?
I think I do. Hold on.
Okay.
Speeding concerns. Yeah. John, and his last name is Betzig.
Okay, hang on a sec. Let me just get a pen. Do you have his contact information or not? Maybe.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, number 5 is Orienta Avenue, 4-way stop.
Yeah, we looked at this last month, and I mean, it looks like a good place for a 4-way stop, honestly, but I don't remember what we decided.
Is this at Orienta Avenue and Rushmore where it?
And Bleecker, it's Bleecker. Here, I'll show you. I can get it on the screen.
It's oriented where Grecian.
Oh, I know what you're saying. It's farther down at Bleecker.
It's on the corner of the Westchester School.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was this was suggested as a way of traffic get people to slow down.
Yeah, slowing the traffic.
Yeah.
So it's here. It's right here.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a natural place for it. I don't know if anybody has any input.
No, I think whenever you see that many streets coming together and there's a speeding issue, evidently, would make sense to me.
I don't recall the resident mentioning a speeding issue, just, maybe just a traffic issue.
Well, they said there was like remember they said there were a lot of bikes that come through here toward a bike trail somewhere, and that it just is very dangerous for the people walking and the people on bikes, and that it seems like a natural place for a 4-way stop because there's a 2-way stop. There's a 2-way stop here anyway.
Yeah, there's a stop sign on Bleecker and one on Grecian.
There's a, you know how Orienta Avenue has like a grass area, and one part of the road is a bike lane, pedestrian area.
Okay, guys, hello. Hi, sorry. But I was just looking, Dan was to get an incident report from the police, and he was going to discuss it. We were supposed to do it in August?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
so you didn't do it.
okay, no. But it's
All right.
broadcasting on my
It,
account.
huh? No, so it wasn't done, right, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so you'll follow up for next month?
So what we'll do is I'll download it and we'll upload to the correct site.
Who are you talking to, me?
Okay. That's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm like, who are you talking to? All right, so, will you follow up on it for next month, please? If you could? Dan?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So Orienta Avenue, the four-way stop, can you follow up with that with the chief, or you were supposed to look into it last month?
Yeah, I can get the accident data.
Okay, yeah, because it says four-way stop the stuff. Dave will send Dan a request. Dave, did you ever send Dan the request?
I did.
If
sorry.
I didn't, I apologize. I'll follow up on it.
Okay, perfect. All right.
All right, item number 6 is Old White Plains Road and Grand Street intersections.
Oh, we did a walking assessment of that.
Yeah, you know what, I think all these.
Shannon was supposed to follow up with a report on that.
Yeah, I think she has a couple reports she was supposed to send out to us, and she hasn't sent anything out. I'm sure she's busy, but I mean, you know what, my thing is, guys, you know, with all these walking assessments, if, you know, stuff really needs to be followed through, because it's just putting, you know,
Right.
it's getting everybody really annoyed at us. And I don't think, and it's not right.
And I don't blame them.
And I don't
mean,
blame them either. I don't.
Yeah, but
You
you know
can't
what?
blame them.
We don't have any residents at this time complaining about Old White Plains and Grand. That was just a walking assessment for the entire Old White Plains corridor.
Right, but what I'm
Meaning
saying
from
is,
Amerenik Avenue and the bridge.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, why do these walking assessments? You know, you're wasting your guys' time, because I
Yeah, but
can't.
there was no particular complaint. It was a corridor assessment of the area. So there's no resident that we can go back to, or a resident that we have to specifically satisfy at this time anyway.
I think
Right.
the point that Lucia is making is that if we're going to have a walking assessment, we should have a timely report of the walking assessment.
Yeah, well,
And we
Alana
should-
mentioned
we should
she was
discuss it.
behind on getting that out, that report.
Yeah, instead of keeping it on the agenda every month.
I don't mean
So,
Alana, I mean Shannon.
okay, so what do you think we should do, Kelly? Should we take this off or leave it?
I think you should take it off the agenda because it was part of the walking assessment. I remember that intersection was something that Matt Carmody had said, you know, you could put like a planter in the middle and try to get cars to slow down. I mean, it was going to be a major infrastructure fix. So what we need
right.
to have done is have the walking safety assessment write up. But until that's done, and that's not in our hands as a committee, there's
Right.
nothing to do.
Right, so I took it off. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
7 Fenimore Road and Prospect Avenue and Monroe Avenue, dangerous intersection walking assessment. It's starting
Same with that.
familiar.
Well, I think with Fenimore and Prospect, I mean, Matt Carmody, you know, gave us the parameters for the capital project, which I think we'll put in the project, in, you know, the capital budget, but, you know, just a matter of getting funded. I don't recall anything specific with Monroe, though.
Yeah, it was extended down to Monroe, also at my request, because it's part of the same corridor. It's only a block away, and it's part of the same. It's actually the crest of the hill on Fenimore, and that's where the problem starts, at Monroe, and then extends one block over to Prospect. But again, you know, that's going to be part of the walking assessment on the 25th. Right, so we don't have to deal with it now anyway.
So that's when, September 25th?
Yeah, whatever that the date is, I think it's the 25th, 24th or 25th.
Can you let me
I
Yeah,
know?
I can look right now. I'll look right now.
I believe it's the 25th.
25th?
Yes, it's the 25th at 4 p.m.
Yep, 25th, 4 p.m.
So the 25-mile-an-hour thing passes. I mean, it's okay to do, you know that, right? The Prospect Avenue? You got the
Yeah, that-
email?
Oh,
In Fenimore Road.
We're not up to the Fenimore Road 25
Oh,
mile
okay.
speed limit yet.
Oh, okay,
We will be very soon. Okay, so number 7 is tabled until we hear a report on the walking assessment. Item 8 is the Fenimore Road 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. Alana, you have something on that?
Sorry, I thought you were on that already. So yeah, we got an email from Dan and from Matt, and they said that it's fine to do the 25 mile an hour, and it's actually an appropriate thing, and Matt would recommend it. So I don't know if we need to if we need to vote or if Kelly needs to bring it to the board.
Both.
No,
You don't have to vote on it, but I think it is a stronger argument before the Board of Trustees if the Traffic Commission has voted on it and wants this to happen.
I have a question, Kelly. So Fenimore Road was not included in the roads that were where the speed limit was changed already to 25
That's
miles?
right. It wasn't because we didn't think it was a village road.
Okay. And so this portion of Fenimore Road that we are contemplating recommending changing the speed limit goes from the Boston Post Road to somewhere?
Yes.
To I-95, to the town line.
The town line is at where I-95 passes over the,
Yep.
yeah, Baldwin is basically the town border.
okay. Do I hear a motion?
I motion to lower the speed limit on Fenimore Road from the town line to Boston Post Road down to 25 miles an hour.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion on the motion? Not hearing any discussion, I'll call a vote. All in favor of the motion to change the speed limit on Fenimore Road from Boston Post Road to the town line to 25 miles per hour, please say aye.
Aye.
I see 3 hands and 1 Karen said aye. Alana?
Aye,
did you vote?
aye.
Said aye, so you have 5, so the motion carries. And I'll remind all of us and anybody watching on YouTube that any motion that we pass doesn't take effect. It's just advisory to the Board of Trustees. All right, we move on.
I'll put this on the work session for next Monday.
Okay.
Do we have time to do that, Dan?
Yeah, I haven't printed it yet, and
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a controversial addition.
No. I just wonder if, I was just going to send you a quick email, but you've got this.
I'll take care of it tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much.
Okay, item 9, South Barry Avenue stop sign, South Barry and Guillen Drive.
I had that. I spoke with Lieutenant DeRuza as well as a back and forth email, and she has given me the data, which I forwarded to you guys, regarding the speed trailer at the 200 block of Barry. And from the extrapolated data, the average mile per hour there is 23.24. And in the 85th percentile, the average speed was 28.63. But you're seeing in the data, in the graphs, if you had clicked on the link that Lieutenant had sent, it will show you there's, you know, a lot of various speeds, but these are obviously averages. So it is a deterrent, but what we're finding, being that I live here, I see everyone does generally slow down based on these numbers. But as soon as they pass it, you know what they do. They gun it. So when I'm speaking with the lieutenant, I don't know if she's there right now. She mentioned something about, you know, perhaps an officer being there or a little further down, even like past that point, like more towards Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club. I mentioned that to her. And, you know, if they can swing it, I don't know if that's something we can do, but that was a good idea.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Because David suggested this sometime last year, I think, on Washington. I thought it was a great idea. We leave the speed trailer there, but we shut the lights off. I mean,
Ooh.
the indicate the
It's
speed.
a great idea.
Yeah.
So it'll still
Great idea.
record speed, but
Yeah.
but people won't get a warning of how
Yes.
fast they're going, and that's how you get a more honest reading of
I
what.
totally 100% agree with you.
Ah, yeah.
Totally agree.
I've seen
And I
those,
think-
yes.
We need 1 month of that, people not knowing that they're being monitored, but they are being monitored because there's no display of speed.
Okay.
And that's how you get a real true reading on what's going on.
Okay, should we
Okay,
make
is
a
the
motion?
lieutenant on the
or-
phone? Because she did mention she was going to be listening in tonight, I believe. Lieutenant, are you there?
You, You're
No?
muted. Lieutenant DeRusa, you're muted.
Um,
So,
yeah, she'll have to be unmuted by Dan.
Okay. You should be able to speak now. Nope.
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't know if you
So,
heard what we, yeah, what we
So
just-
yes, I can speak to the chief about continuing to leave the speed trailer there with it turned off so we can gather that additional data.
right.
And what else did you recommend to me? You gave me a couple good ideas, you know.
Right. So I also suggested that we can possibly do some targeted enforcement over by Alder Road and the Parkway. But when we have, just to keep in mind, when we have done like things like this in the past, and I think we spoke about this, a lot of times it is the residents, unfortunately, that are the ones who are speeding.
Oh yeah.
But we have, no issue with doing that enforcement as well. So we can try it and see.
I would think that's a very, very good idea, especially with we see so much going on with the increased activity with the new owners of the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club. I don't know if any of you are aware of that, but it was sold 2 years ago to another family, and they've made some changes in there. But what's going on is there's so much work going on there, and there's a lot more members from the area and a lot out of the area, as well as contractors. There's a lot of flying up and down that hill, coming in and out.
Right. So we can, like I said, we can have some targeted enforcement there. Right now, our focus is, because school's opening, on
Yep.
doing some enforcement around the schools and people that are not distracted while they're driving and stopping for school buses and things like that. But as soon
Yeah.
as we can get to it, we will.
Thanks, Lieutenant. You're very helpful.
Welcome.
okay, item 10, Washingtonville Waverly Avenue Walking Bridge. Anybody know why that's
Oh,
there?
I thought we tabled that pending because the construction plans include new sidewalks on both sides, right, Dan? That's what Dan said.
Yes.
So it's really nothing we can do about it right now.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I have
That
to
really
add
needs
is,
to be done.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I have to add is, I know that the town and their engineers met with the owners of the building where Arctic Glacier is to look at, and they're going to try and maximize the efficiency of the traffic detour. Moving a couple of items.
All right, but this was specifically on the
Yeah.
walking over the Waverly Bridge, but that's already included in the reconstruction plans.
Correct. There's
So
sidewalks on both sides.
that doesn't even need to be on the agenda anymore.
Take it off?
Right, David?
Dan?
Pending reconstruction of the bridge.
I don't set your agenda. It's not my call as to what you have and don't have.
Oh, at the same
Honestly, that
time, we're trying to, manage the agenda and make it more manageable. And we don't need more unnecessary agenda items.
I mean, the last I have is that it was going Alana will follow up with Larry and Tom.
Yeah, so just so you know, Larry followed up, and then I submitted the traffic commissioner's feedback to the committee. So I think you could take that off the agenda. It's all.
Yeah. Yeah, and it said Dan would report to the traffic commission in September.
Yeah.
So Dan reported to us.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. All right, I'm
Thank you.
going to take it off.
Item 11, visibility issues while turning onto Halsted Avenue.
So, I noticed that there were some bushes that were cut back. I think Dan said that he would have the code officer walk up and down. And it's like the resident started cutting the bushes and then gave up because there were too many bushes. I mean, if you look, I think it's at Halsted and Florence or English. There are bushes that make it difficult for people to see when they're pulling out. So I don't know, Dan, if it sounds like they talked to the residents because I saw the bushes cut back, but it looks like the residents sort of stopped the project.
Yeah, our code enforcement officer issued, I believe it was 5 orders to remedy for various properties along the corridor. I can follow up with him to make sure he follows up on those to make sure the
Okay.
issues.
Thank you.
Could we just can we take it off since the hedges have been done?
And
Well,
it's
wasn't-
handled by the
Wasn't there
building.
two parts to this? There was the visual obstructions, which we were going to take care of, and wasn't there something separate that Alana was going to follow up on? I can't recall.
Alana would look into at the shrubs and let Dan know and contact the code enforcer to take care.
Okay.
Discuss that, and that was it. That's all. I think it was just turning onto Halsted, right, Alana? And I think the shrubs.
So, yeah, so I had suggested that like I think it would be interesting to do a study of the utility poles and the shrubs, just so that this keeps coming up, so that every time, it comes up, then maybe we'll kind of have a map of what the issues are. And I think Dan had a good suggestion of the next time Con Edison puts up a utility pole, have them put it up far from the corner, because that's part of the visibility too. That was the second part that I remember, but otherwise it was just the shrubs.
Okay. So I will follow up with the code enforcer to make sure he's following up on the orders to remedy.
Okay, can I just suggest that since the shrubs have been cut, that we take it off the agenda, and if there's any further complaints down the road, we'll just, put it back on.
Sounds
Okay.
like a plan.
Sounds good?
Sounds like a
Thank you,
plan.
Lucia.
All right. Perfect. Very
Okay,
good.
so now, I see under the heading of other.
Okay, I have that stuff, David.
Okay, so the first one is Jint Remus.
Yes, so Jerry, sorry, I forgot we had this. Okay, so Jerry sent an email and to Elaine and said he's sorry, he forgot he had this. So I'll keep it on there, okay, for next month again.
Okay,
Okay, and the same, Underhill is that one parking spot in front of the church. I guess that all goes to the Board of Trustees, right? We're waiting to hear back to see if that gets voted on, and that other lady, to move the parking spots in front, handicap spot in front of her house.
Yeah, the one on Center?
Yeah.
We
So we
voted
have-
on that. We voted.
Yeah, right. So should we take those off since it has to be,
if they've already gone to the Board of Trustees, they should definitely not be on our agenda.
all right, so then I'm gonna take those off.
The center was at the last traffic commission meeting.
Yeah.
Which is taking place, this meeting of the traffic commission and the last meeting of the traffic commission, both are occurring before the Board of Trustees has an opportunity to meet in person.
Okay, and then I also,
Wait, just 1 second. Can I just ask Dan, this isn't on our agenda either though, is it?
I'll add it.
Thanks.
I was an oversight on my part.
Okay, thank you. It should be a small quickie.
yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, and so David, the only other thing we have is the follow-up. If you don't mind, I'll go through this, what Jerry said. Mamaroneck Villa, hatching will be done on the avenue. That's what Jerry said. Painting in the spring, Jerry will set up a meeting with the principal of Bello to discuss the most efficient way to incorporate the school drop-off and pickups. That Stangelis place is still in legal. Tony will find out if this could be done, as it may be a state road. Union and Tompkins, the painting guideline to be done in the spring. Jerry will supply Tony and Dan with striping guidelines. And then just the improvement on Mamaroneck Avenue, a meeting to be set up with Kevin Roseman for October. That is it.
Okay,
That's all.
so I don't really know whether you make the call for other business or other new business before or after the minutes, but I'll go for the minutes. So, did anybody not receive Lucia's minutes from the last meeting? Okay, anybody have any comments on the minutes from the last meeting? I have one. I was a little confused under old business. There's dates there for walking assessments of March 6th and April 1st.
Yeah, those are old ones. Those are old dates. I'll take them off. Because I remember the virus came.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
thank
what-
you.
Any other comments on the minutes?
I think she did a beautiful job. That's my comments.
Good job.
She did a really nice job.
I try. It's very hard. It's difficult.
Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as distributed with the deletion of those 2 dates? Somebody wants to say yes, I move.
Yes, I move.
Second,
Second,
And
all in favor of the minutes as corrected, please say aye.
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 Alana, did you vote?
Yes, I.
Oh, I hear 5 ayes, so the motion, the minutes are accepted. Is there any other business that anybody wants to bring before the traffic commission? Not hearing any.
I would just like, I mean, if Dan, you have to go, you want to take us off of YouTube, I just want to get back to what we discussed about, Dan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I was going to say, if you want to leave, we don't have to record this,
No,
right?
I'm fine. Hey,
Oh, I think you need
you're
to.
talking about
close the
business
meeting.
of the traffic commission. I mean, it should be,
No,
discussed.
no, it's what we were talking about this before. Does that have to be recorded?
Before you get off, I think you need, have you closed the meeting?
I know, I'm about to.
Minutes.
Yeah.
But before I close the meeting, do we want to set a meeting, the next meeting date, or is that already set because we've got them in perpetuity?
It's always the second Tuesday of the month.
Okay, so not hearing any other business, I now close the meeting of the Village of Amerenik Traffic Commission for this evening.
Good job, David.
Great job. You did a fantastic
Very
job.
efficient. Oh, wow.
Very good.
You could run my
You did a
whole
great
house.
job.
I vote for David to be the permanent chair.
Luckily, the meeting's been closed and there will be no more votes.
Ooh.
Motion is out of order. All
I'm
right,
too new to start in this conversation. I can't touch any of this.
okay, the recording light is still on, so I can't be confident that it's not being recorded.
Well, I mean, if you're
Not getting involved.
meeting
No,
is-
Yes.
wait,
No,
Yes.
the meeting is closed. The meeting.
Okay. so-
no, wait. So I just want to get back to what we were discussing before the meeting. Kelly.
Is the meeting closed or what?
Well,
Yeah,
well,
the meeting is closed, and I would recommend that you not say anything that you don't want other people to hear because the meeting is still being recorded.
Well, can we
Right, but
stop,
why can't you,
stop the recording?
if they
Thank
stop
you.
it and we stay
Well,
on?
Stop it. You did stop it.
the recording is stopped.
Thank you. So that's why I
By the way.
just want to get back to what I was talking